Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for February 3rd? Yes, the 3rd, right? 2019. So, it was kind of a weird reading week. I worked a lot of overtime. I mean, more than I want to work overtime. I know a lot of people put a lot more hours than I do, but I don't want to and I don't like to. So I admit it, I just don't like it. And it was just long days of sitting at my desk. Because again, every time I walk away from my desk, somebody's like, where were you? I came, I called, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm gone for like 5 seconds. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so, I still read quite a few things, but they were all pretty short. And I'm kind of avoiding the big ones, which I think is just because my attention span I'm having trouble with that. So I'm going to talk about the things that I finished, the things I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week, which I'm not really sure of. Let's just be honest. Anyway, so if you guys saw my vlog last week, I did finish Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant on Sunday. I really enjoyed this. I would definitely put this on kind of a urban fantasy / horror side of things, because it has to do with mermaids. Anyway, it was really cool. I actually really enjoyed this. If you see my vlogs there, I just enjoyed it. It took me a long time to read because I am a slow reader, but overall I really enjoyed this, and I really cared about the characters, which was a surprise for me because there were so many. The perspectives do change a lot in here, but I did like that, and we got a lot of different things, and I almost liked the ending. The ending was just a little less than I wanted, but then, you know, I mean, I get it. It's not completely wrapped up so she could do stuff more with it, or I mean, not wrapped up to what I would want. Like, as I said, it was like, I think it's enough, but it's not, well, I mean, it's enough for, I don't know, maybe not for me. Okay, I don't know how to say that. Other than that, I really enjoy this. If you like, so this has to do with a team of scientists going out to the Mariana Trench looking for mermaids, and a team was sent out 7 years before, kind of as a hoax documentary, and something happened and they did not come back. Their ship was found drifting, and none of them were around. So this is 7 years later, and it tells the story of one of the people who died. Her sister Tori is trying to figure out what's going on out there, and she's become like a sonar scientist kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I love all the science stuff in here because, again, this is the kind of stuff I liked from, I would say, like Michael Crichton and a couple of those where they use science, but then there's adventure. I would say it was kind of more on that range. And I totally recommend this for a fun ride. I really enjoyed it. It was just fun. As I said, it was just a fun, great, you know, it wasn't like the best thing I read, but it was just so much fun. Like, it was just enjoyable. And so I would totally recommend this. I'm glad I finally picked it up. And it was actually one of my TBR draws that I actually made myself read, because not very many of those went so well. But I did pick up The Art of Memoir by Mary Karr afterwards, and I did enjoy this. It just took me a couple days to read. It is, Mary Karr, again, wrote The Liars Club, Lit, and Cherry. I read The Liars Club when it came out. I think at the time, it was right after I started working, or it was out when I was working at Walden Books way back in the day. And I remember getting that and reading that because somebody had recommended it. And I do not read a lot of memoirs, so I got this more to understand memoirs better, because it was really actually kind of funny, because I would say about half of the memoirs she mentions during this book I had either read or knew about, and then there's a whole bunch that I did not, because I don't read enough memoirs. So I'm still not sure memoirs are something I want to focus a lot of reading on, because I'm much more into biography, or, you know, something where somebody else has taken a bigger look, not that person talking about their life. But I did find this very fascinating on how, if you do want to write a memoir, she also goes through on her process and what other people have done and said. I think it was a really good guide to other memoirs if you want to get to it. And there's also a great list in the back of memoirs that she would recommend. And so at some point I might pick up some. It is kind of funny that I decided to go with this after I've read a couple of kind of work memoirs. I read the Anthony Bourdain, I read Kitchen Confidential, and I read the Lieutenant Joe Kendo one, Well, I Will Find You. And then, you know, like there's a couple I've read that are more job related. And of course right now I'm listening to one in my car, which I'll talk about again here in a second. But I don't normally pick up memoirs. They've never been my favorite or something I'm drawn to. But I'm more amped to maybe pick a few up just to try them out. I actually have one coming from the library that I want to try. That's a pretty famous one. So, I mean, again, I think this was really good. I'm definitely keeping the book as a reference. I still don't think I'm ever going to write a memoir. I don't think my life is quite that interesting, but I did like hearing about this. I just think this is a great guide to if you definitely want to know more about memoirs or how to handle them or how to write them or how to pick another one that you want to read. I think it was a really good book, and I'm glad I picked that one up. So this week, as I said, was really hard and long. So by Thursday night, I was pretty much just tired, and I wasn't reading a whole lot after I finished The Art of Memoir. I did pick up another book, which I'll explain in a minute. But I decided Thursday night was like, it's manga night. I don't know. And I had to get these done because they're due today to the library, which I have to go take them in. So I read both 4 and 5 of Lisott's and The Witch's Forest. This is by Nasuki Takaya, who does Fruits Basket. So, of course, it's one of my favorites. Manga writers and drawers, whatever. I don't know what you call them. Whatever they make them. I don't know. But they, this is translated by Sheldon Dreiska. Anyway, these are just really fun. Again, continuation of the series. Again, it has to do with a woman, or, yeah, I don't actually know what her age is. She's a young woman, and she has been exiled from the kingdom to a far-reaching edge of it because they claim that she started a rebellion or tried to kill her brother, who is in charge of everything, which I can't remember what his title is exactly. Now, what? I really enjoyed it. It's one of those ones where it's all madcap, like in certain areas, and then it gets all serious and everybody has dark backstories, but it's really well put together. I think they're just fun. And just that Fruits Basket is one of my favorite series of all time. But this ends on a cliffhanger, and there's no other books that I know of. I didn't realize this last one came out in like 2013 in Japan, I think 2017 here in the US in translated. And it's on hiatus. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So if anybody knows, I was really kind of upset because the way number 5 ends, I'm like, oh, okay, this is really getting good here. Because, you know, it was kind of meandering in the middle here. This book was like all these revelations. I was all excited. And I can't finish it because it's not around. I don't even know if it's in Japanese, if there's another version or another volume. So I'm a little upset. Anyway. But I still enjoyed that up until that point. But that was just me, because I like things that finish. I've had it, you know, where they had, and ones that, you know, manga that I've read over the years that don't ever finish, and I'm like, I want to know what happens. Tell me. So anyway, I then, because February 1st I started my February TBR, I started picking up books from that, and the first one I finished was Animal Farm. Why that popped in, I can't tell you. Animal Farm by George Orwell. So I read 1984 last year, and I've never read Animal Farm. And actually, I didn't actually know all that much about this. It's really funny because it's not very long, but I was never told, or, you know, I never had it assigned to my classes ever. And even, you'd think I would have picked it up because people talk about it, but really it's just one of those ones always in the back of my head that I knew about, and I knew other people had read it. And I knew I should read it, and again, it was on the list with 1984, but I just never got around to it. So I'm glad now that I've actually read it. I have many thoughts about this, mostly because it didn't quite go the way I thought it would. I think it's a really good commentary on, I mean, again, it's supposed to be kind of a commentary on the Soviets at this time, and Stalin and all that kind of stuff, and I can totally see that. But it was really kind of sad. I think overall my impression of this was sad for the animals that were not the pigs and the dogs, but everybody else. I felt so sad for them because of the way that things went for them, and the ending is just kind of like, oh, really? But again, it's kind of, as I said, it's kind of a fable, and again, it has to do with animals that take over a farm. They pretty much decide they're in charge. They got rid of the humans that were actually owned or worked the land, and they decide they're going to work it and, you know, make things better for them. So it doesn't go quite as planned. But I think this is something, I see why this is something like a required reading. I wish I'd been required to read it, but it was never on any list, or else I would have read it because it's freaking short. But it just never came up. So I'm glad I finally got that. And I've read that now. So the next George Orwell thing I want to pick up is Down and Out in Paris in London, his nonfiction, because I do want to read some of his nonfiction. I just haven't got to that yet. So I like his writing just enough that I like it. Why is the sun all so bright? Sorry. But I wanted to read his fiction stuff first. That was so, I think it was important. And so I'll now want to read some of his nonfiction. He just seems like a weird character. Anyway, so, and then last night I finished Evelation. I can't say that word. You guys, sometimes the tongue just and my mind does not connect because I have to memorize words. I don't actually sound out words. Elevation. Sorry. I don't know why. Anyway, it has to do with the way I learned how to read. Anyway, by Stephen King. So again, I saw a lot of people talking about this, or I think it came out in December or November, something just recently. And I knew I wasn't gonna buy it because it was so expensive for this little book. I'm like, no, I don't care who the author is. I'm not buying this little book. Anyway, so I got it from my library, and I read. I'm gonna say, so this has to do with a man who he's losing weight, but his body isn't changing. He's the same. He looks exactly the same, but his weight is going down, down, down. And it doesn't matter what he has on or not. You know, he weighs that same amount every day, and every day he loses a pound to 2 to 3 pounds a day. So it's kind of his journey on this weird phenomenon that he's becoming lighter, but not, his mass looks the same, but it's not the same. And then his relationship with his neighbors, who are two women who partners who run a restaurant together, and they're having their own issues because this is a Maine town, and not everybody is so open about people being lesbian or they're actually married, which I thought was kind of funny. About the whole married part was the issue really more than the lesbian. I don't know, because I'm not from Maine, so I don't know. But it was kind of interesting overall, but it almost made me put it down because I was so frustrated with one of the women. And I mean, if you read this, you know, like 20 pages in, you're like, what? And you're like, what? You just, I don't know. I mean, I get it being upset and stuff, and I understand that the stresses and everything, but the way she reacted to the main character was not my favorite. I admit it. I did not enjoy that. And it happened one more time, and then it kind of got better, and then the story got much better. And by the end, I was emotionally attached to the main character, Scott. And I did like him and how he kind of had to deal with this weight issue thing. And I like the supernatural part, or not the supernatural, but the weird part, you know, that what's going on. And then it was a weird ending, but I still liked it. And I did care about this character. So, I mean, everything wrapped up okay, good. I'm glad I persevered. But I have to say, there's twice I said that, like one time I said it that 20 some pages in. I've set it down and I did not expect to pick this up, but I knew that I had I had to take it back to the library today. And last night I had finished Animal Farm and I'm looking around going, well, what do I really want to pick up? And I'm like, well, let's give this one more shot. So I gave it one more shot and then I just breezed through the rest because it's only 146 pages. So I did like it. Again, Stephen King is an author that I've read a lot of, not recently. So his is actually the first thing I've read of his in probably a couple of years. I mean, I still have stuff on my TBR that I want to read up by him. And I want to reread some things so I can read other books. So I just, but I wanted to try this. It just sounded kind of different. And I'm glad I did. The payout was pretty good. I did like it by the end. But it just kind of, as I said, I had some little problems with that other part. So the other books that I'm kind of in the middle of that one of them, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I'm in the middle of The Wreath, which is the first book in the Kristen Levrandatter trilogy by Sigrid Undstedt. And I really liked the beginning, and then it did this kind of little hiccup of not quite real anymore. It kind of went from historical fiction to kind of some, I don't know, it was fabulist or just some little thing happened and I'm like, what? And I've only gotten about 78 pages in and I'm just not sure. So I don't know if it was just because I was working so many hours for me that I just didn't have the strength to hold up this monster book when I'm only reading the first section right now. And I don't know if I'm just being overly critical, you know, of some of the things I've read. Because in a lot of ways, it's a very slow story. Not a lot is going on. Like, I mean, there's a couple action scenes. There's like one action scene for sure that I've come across. And the rest of them are kind of more, you know, family or people talking and things like that. I don't know. There's just that one little scene that was earlier. I'm just not sure how this is supposed to go because of what I've heard. I'm not sure. But I haven't watched many people talk about it because I haven't let myself. I keep turning off or putting the mute button on because I don't want to know. So I'm going to try to give this one more shot. It's not, I just don't know if right now is the time. This might be a book that I don't get rid of and that I give it a shot later. I just don't know if right now the way my mind is not focusing very well on things. I have like shorter things are better. Maybe that's my problem with this. I don't know. But I haven't heard anybody else super complain about this. Some people have not said it was okay. I'm just not sure if I want to continue. So anyway, I still have that and it's still open on my Goodreads because I'm hoping to get through it. I really want to watch Britta's video on it too because that's her Noble Women read-along thing. And I want to read one of these. I'm having trouble. So we'll see. And then I also started Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell on Friday. I just read a little bit at work. I just haven't picked it up yet again this weekend. So I did not really know what this story was about because again, Elizabeth Gaskell's one I'm just learning about. She's one of those people who I didn't know about until book 2 because I don't know why she was not on any of the syllabuses that I had back in college. I'm just flabbergasted. Anyway, so, but this is her first novel and it's taking place in Manchester, England in the early 1800s and it has to do with John Barton and his daughter Mary and kind of their life there. He's a weaver at one of the factories and she's becoming a dressmaker and it's kind of like their lives. I'm not sure beyond that. I know things are going to get darker and it's mostly talking about Industrial Revolution in that time period in Manchester. So I'm really curious still on this. I just haven't read a whole lot. I've said I got like 36 pages in. We're meeting new characters all the time. So I'm not saying anything right. I guess I don't have an opinion yet quite either way. I'm still going to keep reading this. I just needed a break yesterday. Yesterday I was in a weird mood in which I read Animal Farm and Elevation. I'm still not sure why that was. And I had a headache and I took a huge nap and it was a weird day, I must say. So anyway, I don't have a copy here anymore because I take back to the library, but I do have Becoming by Michelle Obama. in my car. I am almost halfway through that, so it's been a week. So it's going to be at least a whole nother week and probably into the next week. So luckily we have the books, we get the things for 3 weeks, because it's probably going to be close to that. It just feels like it, at least over another week. So I'm really, really enjoying that. And again, that's a memoir. So it's really funny because I picked up the Art of Memoir, you know, I picked up the book a couple of months ago, but I finally read it this month, and it was really good to read that. And then I actually can see how Michelle Obama's doing things in her writing. It's really pretty good, actually. I'm actually kind of impressed. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it just for Michelle Obama's life story and the stuff with Barack and everything. It's awesome. Everybody's raved about it. Totally agree with it. She narrates it. I really like hearing it from her. Hearing her voice as well. So that's been really well. So I also, I forgot to, I don't have anything. I did start another audiobook because those are CDs in my car. So I wanted to put one on my Audible account on my phone that I could listen to. And I'm going to go get the book at the library today just to track pages, because that's what I like to do. I started Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin this morning. So I've only listened to like a half hour. So I haven't got very far, but I really didn't know a lot about what this was, but I've never read James Baldwin. So I'm kind of excited to see how this goes and maybe pick up something else by him. But I got it on sale for an Audible daily deal at some point, so I want to listen to that. That's gonna be my kind of backup, like when I'm doing chores around the house, or if at work I have time, which I didn't have time this last week, but so I just have another audiobook. It's not normal I have 2 on the go. Usually I just have 1 because I'm usually listening to it just in the car, but I wanted to have a second one going just because it was gonna be the next one anyway, but I had to do some chores this morning, and I might have to do some more. So, but beyond that, I don't really know what I'm going to pick up this week. I have my whole February TBR, so I have a whole lot of stuff for Black History Month and for some urban fantasies I want to pick up, and there was something else. Oh, yeah, well, that's what I have right now. But I have a couple things coming in from the library. So, I might just switch it up. But, again, as I said, I think I'm really going to try to focus on Mary Barton this week. I am doing this as a kind of an Instagram, Bookstagram kind of thing. There's a read-along for Elizabeth Gaskell. And, as I said, I'm only really going to I'm for sure going to read this month the first book. But I don't know if I can do one every month. Anyway, so I'm kind of excited about that. And just in case anybody saw that, there's these new videos out about I think March of the Mammoths, I think it is, or Marching Mammoths or something like that, where that some people are doing big books, like over 800-page books in March, and I'm really excited. I already went through all my books and found I found 11 or 12 of them that are just on ones I really want to read that are 800 and above. So, but I'm not going to be able to read all those in March. I just think it's really cool that they're doing that. And I know BigAlBooks is one of them. And is it Old Blues Chapters and Verse? I think it's the channel. I don't remember. I'll have to find out. But it just sounds really fascinating. Of course, they give the announcement video a month ahead. So now I'm already thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to read my stuff in February. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's kind of it. This has been a really long video. So anyway, I hope you guys are having good reading. What are you guys reading? Are you guys into anything? I'm really hoping this next week won't be quite as bad, but at this point it's kind of scheduled to snow tomorrow, which I hope it doesn't, because this is Oregon and it's not good when it snows, at least not in the Portland area. So I'm hoping that gets canceled, that they say, no, we're wrong. It's not going to be that cold. We'll see. Anyway, of course a day off would be nice, but that's not a good reason to have snow on the ground. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, I hope you guys are reading something good. Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.